Cheers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives will continue to learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Now, with that said, over the many years that I have been doing this YouTube thing, and thank you, Bob, out there. And let's give a thumbs up to the AI out there and have some coffee. And in my duty as a watchman, of course, I'm supposed to watch things. And in watching things, and especially here, this last couple of weeks and so forth, you know, there's just absolute craziness going on. And so we have been told by those supposedly in the know that we are to stay calm and to have faith. Well, to have faith in whom or who or however you want to put it. Do you have faith in God? Do you have faith in the Creator? Do you have faith in the world? Do you have faith in your family members? Do you have faith in yourself? So have faith. Have faith in what? Well, trust the plan. Okay. But anyway, with all these things that are going on, there are a lot of people, again, and every so many years, it seems like once a year with a lot of folks, they've been talking about the rapture and the end of the world. And I've done videos, years ago, not to brag, but just to point out that I have explained to folks that we are in the times of revelation. But, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Okay. It's the end of systems. It's the end of certain people. We might be collateral damage in this. We have to accept that. It's just part of life. We don't necessarily have to like it. You know what I mean? But at the same point, very simply put, we have to continue to have faith in ourselves and faith in what we believe in. Now, there are some folks out there, and I kind of sort of touched on this the other day, that, when I talked about madness, the madness of madness. And there are folks who are spiritually something, I don't know what it is. But when you look at some of their rationale, you have to just scratch your head and go, really? But here's the thing, if they believe that they're reaching this higher self, if they're reaching, they're trying, you know what I mean? So who am I to, criticize somebody else's methods or modes? I do offer warnings many times and go, do you really want to go down that road? But some of these folks have gone off a little bit off the deep end again, Well, the world is coming to an end. Well, is the world coming to an end, or are the things that are changing now the end of a whatever? Okay, the end of a time, the end of a timeline, the end of sanity, the beginning of insanity. I'm sorry, but I think the insanity has been ruling for quite some time. So what we have to understand, though, let me stay grounded. Me and you, all y'all out there, you have to stay grounded in this time because the craziness is overflowing, coming out of the pot. The pot's on the stove, you're making a stew, and you left the lid on, and you forgot to check it and stir it, and now there's steam coming out and it's boiling over the sides. Probably been there at least once in your life, right? So, but in that, when the pot boils over, it affects the stove and things, and it gets messy. So with this pot that's flowing, bubbling over, think of the steam from a pot that's got, water in it, and the vapors coming off of that. That's the energy that's going into the universe, the steam, And so, because we're in the kitchen, we're in the same kind of kitchen as these folks, if you will. We're on the planet Earth. Then we're going to see the steam in the kitchen kind of thing. We're going to be affected by it. Or we can, turn on the fan, the exhaust fan, and let all that craziness go. So we have control of certain situations in our life where people are like, oh, this is the end, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, please give these folks, they want the end so bad that they're praying for the end, and it's like, okay, in their timeline, as things seem to be headed, if that's the truth, if what the back channels are talking about, these people who wish for the Bible to come true because they're praying it, they're talking about the end, they're talking about, life's going to change, we're all going to, the rapture, I don't have to go into it. But that for some reason, the steam that's bubbling over is having an effect on the rest of us, albeit a little on the mild side. But, there are some people that have kind of where, and just watching folks in the chat room, not here, but other places, I lurk around in places and listen. There are some folks that are just totally ignoring this and going, well, what the hell, And there are other folks who are just, their minds have been blown in that there is no justice, there is no, et cetera, et cetera. We are a mob of thugs. Remember that. That's how they perceive us. So we want change, and we would rather it not be bloody. So, but is this the end of things? In a lot of ways, it is. If you keep up with the financial markets and so forth, which I'm late getting here almost this morning, because I was, catching up on some financial channels and what they were discussing as far as this and that. And if you've got a gold certificate, you ain't got squat. Just saying. And some of these folks that are talking about gold, you know what they're talking about now? Something that I've been trying to mention to people for a long time. Gold and silver, unless silver is in a coin, gold and silver are not going to get you, you're not going to be able to go to the local grocery store and trade it in. If you've got change, if you've got dollar bills, as long as dollar bills will exchange, people will take it. So have some money in your house, have some extra change or something. But if you want to invest in something, invest in food, invest in some seeds, invest in a water purifier, invest in something that will be worth something in the end. But you can't eat gold and you can't eat silver. And there was a place down in Mexico, a friend of mine who recently passed away. I've talked about him, Serge. He went down there, and there's a place in Mexico, I can't remember the name right now, but it's very popular for its silver work. And the people down there are starving. So when he was down there that one visit like 20 years ago, it was like, there's all this silver, all these vendors in the little towns and everything, beautiful craftsmanship, and they're starving to death. Why? Because you can't eat it. And if some other folks in Mexico, they don't have the money because they're just as poor. They probably work in the silver mines or whatever. So nobody's got enough money to exchange for this stuff. And unless a foreigner comes in and buys up the silver, which is what they would do, and then bring it back to the United States and then sell it at a high markup value. And so, but it's like, it's like we have all this silver, but we cannot eat it and we cannot trade it. We have to trade it for money to buy other things. So they had a whole village is full of silver, and they're poor and hungry, So where, and what's the silver going to do you? What's that gold going to do you? And invest in something that you can put your dead gum hands on, you know. So anyway, but to the end of things, a lot of folks are talking the prepper stuff, and I go through my house and I'm like, I got a good supply of canned goods, and in this end game, whatever is being played, for one person, if you're on oh my God, I can't get to the stores aren't open, money's no good. Let me give you a very easy rule of thumb. 1 can of food a day. Now, 12 ounce, 16 ounce, and whatever you can scrounge up. And you say, well, my God, that's not very much. If you're starving to death and you ain't got nothing and don't know when something's going to come, man, if you have 1 can of food for every person, now you can turn it into a stew. And, so you got 5 people, there's 5 different cans, and together they can, make a stew. But but we have to look at this stuff as like, listen, if that happens, how willing are you to to scrunch down? For example, can you drop to 1 meal a day? This 3 meal a day stuff is bananas. As old as I am right now, I eat little portions throughout the day. And and God knows I used to sit down and eat a lunch with 2 big plates full and dessert, and I get by on a half a sandwich. So this idea that we require so much food is bananas. Now, I relate this back to the days of the pioneers. And this is relative because the pioneers, Davy Crockett and them folk up in, Daniel Boone at Boonesville up in North Carolina. I was up in there and talking with folks and some of the old timers, and it was like this guy would go up across the mountain in a day, get there around noon, have lunch with everybody, and then cross back over this mountain. Now, it took a while just to drive the damn thing. And I mean, he was on foot or even with a horse, back in the day. And they didn't stop for 3 meals a day. No, they had a little bit of fat back. They had a little bit of jerky. They had maybe a hard biscuit or something or a cookie kind of thing. And, they were, 50 miles of mountains climbing up and down and toting stuff. And oh my God, they didn't have enough calories. Well, they didn't, okay. Native Americans would, fast sometimes a day or two before a hunt. So they wouldn't have to stop to poo or anything like that was one of the reasons. But another, you think, well, wait a minute, you're going to go out on this hunt and chase down buffalo or whatever, but you're not going to eat for a day or so before the hunt. Well, wait a minute, where's your calorie intake? So my point is that society has fed us this, literally fed us these 3 meals a day and how many calories and the food pyramid. And oh my God, I used to do puppet shows and stuff about the food pyramid. And I even, did a little song and things and sold it to Phoebe Putney up in Albany, Georgia. But anyway, about the food groups. But then they, a couple of years later, they changed the food groups, and they rearranged them. Well, this really isn't as good for us. Anyway. My point to that is that if this is the end of things, it's also new beginnings. We have to understand that even if you're a Bible scholar or whatever, at the end of days, there will be 1,000 years of peace. I have sometimes wondered where they come up with this 1,000 years, but in this, even in the Bible, even with all the doom and gloom and we're all going to die, are things changing? You betcha. So it's the end of an era. It's the end of a timeline. Is it the end of the world? I don't think so. Is it going to be different? You betcha. So, but does that mean that it's the collapse of society? Society's going to figure it out one way or the other, okay? We always have, even during the big Spanish flu influenza thing back in 1917 kind of thing. They didn't wear masks and stuff back then, and we made it through. A lot of people died, but the strong survived, and we made it through. And for whatever reason, it was what it was. So, humankind has had all kinds of things that has befallen humankind, but it has never been the end. I mean, even if you consider Moses, which I don't believe the whole world flooded. I believe the world that they knew flooded, but I'm not going into that story. But because the Noah story then would not coincide with the Native American Turtle Island story. Anyway, because turtle could float, Anyway, so, but the idea though that the known world flooded, I absolutely believe in that because there's a lot of evidence around the Mediterranean. With that said, so, but even at the end of all things, because, here's the thing that kind of I wondered about, they, there were birds that were flying around after the event. Just saying. Even with such catastrophic events, mankind has persevered. Okay. Now, should we be concerned about where we live and that? Yes. So I picked an area where down here in South Georgia with the least amount of danger up to a point, right? So where we choose, how we choose, we still have that option within us. Now, does that mean it's the end of the world? It's the end of stuff. This kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. And in the future, we're going to see new beginnings and old stuff getting tossed aside or crushed or however you want to put it, right? So, but is this the end? I want to look at you and say this with total honesty. I freaking hope so. I hope this is the end of all this stuff. You know what I mean? And that the new beginning, that is my hope and that is my prayer. And I'll continue to think that way. Even if, quote, the other side wins in it. I just don't believe that. It's up to us who wins in the end, I believe. So, but if they need, and there is a lot of talk about the Pope, and the Pope's doctor died from the 19. I've talked about the Pope and that he ain't really the Pope, but Ratzinger thing still is, I think, if he is actually still alive. But, there's information that the Vatican was involved in certain things and stuff, etc. There's some news out there that the president of Italy was arrested. We'll see. But here's the thing, though. Things are changing. People are changing. Ideas are changing. So it is an old way, the end of the old way of our looking at things, if we take it that way. Because if we start any from now, and just start, I'm going to look at the future as something that I can change. This is a new beginning, one way or the other. It's a new beginning. And we're all going to have to blunder through it to find out where our feet are going to be in the sand, kind of thing. But if you've got your own personal self strong and your own personal faith in your Lord, your God, your creator, your spirit, the source, whatever, if you are sure about that, stick with that. Okay. And because there's going to be a lot of weird stuff that's going to be coming out. And, some of the things that have already come out are like, yeah, I've been talking about that for a while. Are they really going to make that public? Cool. You all are like, man, I think Hawkeye talked about that shit some time back. But anyway, so I don't want to talk too much about all of this other stuff. But with all of this, and there's good reason for some of these people to believe that this is the end. And we should agree with that and go, yeah, this is the end. Don't know quite what yet. Let's see how certain things turn out. But like the War Powers Act has been signed and put into effect. So, for those of you who know what that is, you can check it into it. And, you say, well, maybe what they're saying is over ain't really over. And maybe it's over for the other side. We'll see. But to my point, regardless of who wins, how stable are we in our own self? Because that is what's going to matter regardless of the sides. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, I still have hope. I'm still praying for the good side because of, certain things and back channels and what's been out there. And I just don't think these people would lie that way. We'll see, because we've been lied to before. So, but anyway, but one way or the other, it's the end of a way of thinking. Well, that our vote really counts, So, and that this is so, and that justice prevails, which we all want to say is bullshit, bullshit, So, but anyway, so I want to spend the rest of this time and say hi to everybody. And I want to do a card reading. I haven't been shuffling them. They've been sitting over there on my old Bible over there. Katniss, hello. Chloe, blessings to everybody. Project Skyfalls, a whole new life. It's up to us though, or we can drag that, that cotton sack around. G Aunt, how you doing? Teresa, as always. I was going to do hi Michelle. I was really going to do a reading last night, and I fell asleep and then had to go get firewood. So anyway, Barry Chad, Pappy Two Bears. There can be no rebirthing without the little deaths of things that went before. Absolutely. My Sky. Sun gazing is helpful, especially if you're hungry. Yeah, get your popcorn, right, Project Skyfalls. Pappy Two Bears says, if you eat to live rather than live to eat, you have much more appreciation what Creator provides. Absolutely. And also, those folks who had little to eat were really grateful for that little bit of food they had, I mean, imagine the cowboys on the range back in the day. Every single flipping day, beans, I mean, anyway. My Sky, it's been a little challenging. There's a lot of homeless people here in Portland. I've been trying to help somewhat, to help some of them out. Yeah. There are homeless around here too, and they have a tendency to congregate in different places. But, we have to do what we can without it's a careful thing because, they say give till it hurts, right? For whatever it is. But if you've got 3 cans of food and there are a bunch of people who are hungry, should you give up all 3 cans of food? Maybe that's 3 days of survival for you. Or if you're really in a bad tight, a half a can a day is really, So what do you share, or do you or not, So I pray to the gods and to Creator and sorts that this shit don't happen, It doesn't get to that. I've got friends of mine around here, and they've been discussing, that if the system went down within a month or so, if deliveries and things shut down, all the food would get eaten, etc. There'd be people roaming around in my backyard in the swamps hunting for stuff. And I'm like, I don't think so. Why? Because some of these people are too damn chicken, and I live 15 miles from town. So now, could it mean that they would get out here? Okay, that's possible. But here's the thing. we're all praying that don't happen. But they've had blackouts across the planet, and there's some scheduled for that to happen again. Um, so we have been warned about the storm that's coming, and I think we should keep an eye on some of this prophecy. But I've been through a lot of storms in my life, as many of you have, and we're still here. And I consider that to be a good sign. Humanity's still here. So, in whatever comes up, we need to remain human, you know, regardless of what happens, we need to remain human because the source in and the universe is listening to that, you know. Hi, Sarah, how are you? Sun, how are you? Chloe, yeah, I'm happy that you're all here too. And Jody, I missed you're in the house. Blessings, everybody, and cheers. Okay, so um, they want me to pull this card. I've been shuffling the cards here, and they were like, "Okay, take this card." Now it's interesting. It's eagle upside down. Okay. Now eagle is a very strong character. It's also number one. It's the first thing in the book. Thank you, Papa Two Bears. To be helpful to others, you must be taking care of yourself. Otherwise, you are helpless as well. That's absolutely true. But there is self-preservation, and then there's being stingy. And I don't know where that line is in the sand. But people are going to have to understand that. So anyway, so first card reading. Now, my preparation for this earlier was that I could do personal card readings for y'all, but for tonight, not to say that I won't pick a card for you, but for tonight I wanted to kind of just focus on, okay, what's in the universe? What should we be aware of? Not me or you or I mean, what should we as a collective be aware of? And anyway, so that was my opening prayer about this, if you get my drift. Okay, so eagle upside down, and this is interesting because eagle, this is the title is spirit. Eagle, fly high, touch great spirit, share your medicine, touch me, honor me, so that I may know you too. Now, the card was upside down, but I'll get to that in a minute. Eagle medicine is the power of the Great Spirit, the connection to the divine. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit and yet remain connected and balanced within the realm of earth. Okay. Now, it's interesting that this sentence comes up because in some of my continued research and understanding and meditations and so forth, is that we are in the throes of the fourth dimension, many of us right now, because it's the lifting of the veil, it's seeing into the other side, it's the understanding of seeing into the other side. Now, there are a bunch of folks who ain't with us. They're still really locked in 3D. So that, and I've talked about that we were leaving 3D and into fourth, and we were practicing four dimensional right now. So I was sort of right, but in a way I was mostly wrong. In that we're more into the fourth, at least those of us who are trying to be not just spiritually aware, but intellectually aware, just aware in general. Okay. I'm going to read this sentence again. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit and yet remain connected and balanced within the realm of earth. So we understand the spirit world. We understand that we're still connected to Mother Earth, but that's learning about the fourth dimension, because now we can still feel Mother Earth, but we feel the spirit all around us. Eagle soars and is quick to observe expansiveness within the overall patterns of life. From the heights of the clouds, eagle is close to the heavens where the Great Spirit dwells. The feathers of eagle are considered to be the most sacred of healing tools. They have been used for centuries by shamans to cleanse the auras of patients coming to them for healing. Within the belief system of Native American tribes, eagle represents a state of grace achieved through hard work, understanding, and a completion of the test of initiation, which result in the taking of one's personal power. It is the only It is only through the trial of experiencing the lows in life as well as the highs, and through the trial of trusting one's connection to the Great Spirit, that the right to use the essence of eagle is earned. If you have pulled the symbol, eagle is reminding you to take heart and gather your courage. For the universe is presenting you with an opportunity to soar above the mundane levels of your life. The power of recognizing this opportunity may come in the form of a spiritual test. In being astute, you may recognize the places within your soul, your personality, your emotions, or your psyche that need bolstering or refinement. By looking at the overall tapestry, eagle teaches you to broaden your sense of self beyond the horizon of what is presently visible. Okay? Got to do a scratch and wipe there. In learning to fiercely attack your personal fear of the unknown, in learning to fiercely attack your personal fear of the unknown, a lot of folks are going through this. The wings of your soul will be supported by the ever present breeze, which are the breath of the Great Spirit. So spread your wings, and soar upon the universe. Feed your body, but more importantly, feed your soul. Feed your soul to the realm of Mother Earth and Father Sky. The dance that leads to flight involves the conquering of fear and the willingness to join the adventure that you are co-creating with the divine. If eagle has majestically soared into your cards, you are being put on notice to reconnect with the element of air. Air is of the mental plane. And in this instance, it is of the higher mind. Wisdom comes in many strange and curious forms and is always related to the creative force of the Great Spirit. If you have been walking in the shadows of former realities, and we have, Eagle brings illumination. Eagle teaches you to look higher, to touch grandfather sky. With your heart, to love the shadow as well as the light. See the beauty in both, and you will take flight like the eagle. Eagle medicine is the gift we give ourselves to remind us of the freedom of the skies. Eagle asks you to give yourself permission to legalize freedom and to follow the joy your heart desires. Now, it was upside down, so I always read the contrary anyway. If you have pulled the eagle in reverse, you have forgotten your power and connectedness to the Great Spirit. And what did I say earlier on? We need to keep our faith and stay strong. So here we go. You have forgotten your power and connectedness to the Great Spirit. You may have failed to recognize the light that is always available for those who seek illumination. It's always there. And you may forget, right? Because of the chaos. A lot of this ain't our fault. You know what I mean? Heal your broken wings with love. Loving yourself as you are loved by the Great Spirit is the lesson which the contrary eagle brings. Loving yourself as you are loved by the Great Spirit. In other words, I mean, we're supposed to do the best we can, but Great Spirit loves us. We need to understand that. Um, on some level, Eagle is telling you to seek higher ground on which to build your nest. The nest is the home of the heart and cannot remain in a swamp. Ain't that weird? Now, I live on the edge of a swamp, but if your nest is in a swamp, this may be connected to your belief that your wings are clipped by an impossibility in your present status. Now, personally, I don't feel that way, but we don't have eagles around here, but a lot of hawks. Eagle's nest is high in the mountains where the air is clean and the and the movement free. It may be your time for a vision quest so that you can commune with the Great Spirit. Fasting and praying, we were just talking about food, right? Fasting and praying will surely bring an answer. Seek lofty ideals and illumination will be close at hand. Now, I shuffled them cards quite a few times while I was talking to you earlier. And the fact that they said, here, take this card. It was the bottom card, which I knocked on the floor. So anyway, I think that's a really good message for all of us, to keep our connectedness with the Great Spirit. And, in times of sorrow, wrath, confusion, chaos, and sometimes just downright war, I agree with you, Pappy. Many have forgotten who they are. They have not been reminded by the society, and the society ain't gonna tell them. But to your point, or have been betrayed by it. When you start listening to the whispers of your heart, you start to find yourself again. I absolutely agree 100% with that. Hi, Ray of Thoth and GN, Guy and Sarah. There are some folks, though, that they take this self-love to a narcissistic, gotta say, well, I love myself. Why don't you love me? Because you're an ass. That's why. But, and sometimes we have to like an ass just as much as we like the other end. But anyway, so with that said, I'm shuffling these cards and I'm kind of like, okay, just in the general sense of thing, nobody in particular here. I'm asking that if what else would the collective need to know? Okay. Barry wants a card. All right. I knew somebody out there was like, Barry, I don't know if this one's for you. Okay. Quite honestly, but I could feel in the force, they were like, okay, this one's for you, maybe. All right. So I'm shuffling again as they're telling me to. So, I'm looking. Yeah, there have been quite a few things here recently that in my, I don't know, watching of stuff, that honor and humility have been coming up a lot. The honor of self, but honor in such a way that it's a humble thought, and that yes, I saw a movie years ago, and it was about Saint Francis of Assisi, and it was one of his acolytes, and there was this guy in the village who was a real dick. Okay, can't say it any other way. He was just a real, douchebag, and he was given in trouble, and was reporting them because they were allowing goats and chickens and stuff into the church, and he was, they would bless them. And so he gave this, one of the acolytes, one of the other priests there at the where St. Francis, well, actually he was just Francis at the time, but to that point though, they showed this guy, and for every mean thing that this local politician did to him, he would come back and he'd bring him flowers, or he'd bring him a biscuit, and it would take him out literally and beat him. And the guy would just get up and go, I'm sorry, you don't understand, and he wouldn't get mad. The priest wouldn't get mad or whatever. And finally, through regardless of what the politician did to the priest, he won him over simply by just, you're hitting me out of anger because you don't understand yourself. And then he would beat the priest a little harder, it was really strange. And I thought, so what is the message here in this, that we should just, all of us, take a beating? But he was trying to show that no matter what this guy did to him, he was still going to love him. He was still going to honor him. And, and he himself, the priest, was going to continue to stay humble in the ways of the Lord. And I thought, that things like that pop up in my head over, from time to time. And I was like, what a visual that was. Okay, Barry, they're saying this card's for you. So I laid it down this way, and it's snake. Number 6. And it's in the right side up position. Skyfall wants a card too. Okay. Teresa, one of these days I got to get you one of them wrenches dealies. I still haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, Teresa and Michelle are my my moderators. My unacknowledged moderators. Well, I'm acknowledging you now. Snake. Transmutation. Okay. Now, when people think of snake right away, they go, oh my God, it's a serpent, it's it's, oh, stop. It's related to the, because the snake was used in the Bible, and it's the devil. And come on, the devil shows up in a lot of different ways. But anyway, snake, transmutation. Snake, come crawling. There's fire in your eyes. Bite me, excite me. I'll learn to realize. The poison transmuted brings eternal flame. Open me to heaven to heal me again. Snake medicine people are very rare. Their initiation involves experiencing and living through multiple snake bites, which allows them to transmute all poisons, be they mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional. The power of snake medicine is the power of creation, for it embodies sexually psychic energy, alchemy, reproduction, and ascension or immortality. The transmutation of the life-death rebirth cycle is exemplified by the shedding of snake skin. It is the energy of wholeness, cosmic consciousness, and the ability to experience anything willingly and without resistance. That you would let a snake bite you multiple times, so you have to just, without resistance, I've been around snakes, and even non-poisonous ones, and when they go out to, I've had little 4-foot long snakes, oak snakes, bite at me, and I pull my hand back every time, and they've gotten close. But but anyway, it is the knowledge that all things are equal in creation, and that those things which might be experienced as poison can be eaten, ingested, integrated, and transmuted if one has the proper state of mind. Thoth, the Atlantean, who later returned as Hermes and was the father of alchemy, used the symbol of two snakes intertwining around a sword to represent healing. Complete understanding and acceptance of the male and female within each organism creates a melding of the two into one, thereby producing divine energy. This medicine teaches you on a personal level that you are a universal being. Through accepting all aspects of your life, you can bring about the transmutation of the fire medicine. This fire energy, when functioning on the material plane, creates passion, desire, procreation, and physical vitality. On the emotional plane, it becomes ambition, creation, resolution, and dreams. On the mental plane, it becomes intelligence, power, charisma, and leadership. When this snake energy reaches the spiritual plane, it becomes wisdom, understanding, wholeness, and connection to the Great Spirit. Interesting that Eagle was talking about the connection to Great Spirit. So here we go with snake. If you have chosen this symbol, there is a need within you to transmute some thought, action, or desire so that wholeness may be achieved. This is heavy magic. But remember, magic is no more than a change in consciousness. Become the magician or the enchantress, transmute the energy, and accept the power of the fire. Now, understanding also that snake sheds its skin. So that's the transmuting in this. In that snake, in a way, is sort of like butterfly in that it goes into cocoon, but snake is different in that it literally grows out of itself, and grows a new skin, and it's a rebirth. So, and once a year I'd look around and out in the shed and different places there'll be snake skins where they've literally crawled out of themselves. So, but anyway, Jody was just watched Atlantis and was thinking about Hercules today. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting correlations and Papa Bear. Snake is one of my totems along with crow and bear. That's cool, Pappy Two Bears. Johan Dancing Gypsy, hi there. Project Skyfall, she can also crank call him. Yeah, I was sort of getting a crank call in my head while I was doing this. And interesting that I was thinking about the reading that you take the two snakes, the male and the female, in intertwining and being one. And an interesting thought came to me, which is like, wow. When I was in Ohio a couple of years ago, visiting the petroglyph site that's kind of sort of near Chillicothe. It's miles outside of town, but closest town I can refer you to in sort of middle southern Ohio. And while I was there, I took pictures. I did a video about it years ago, and I need to see if I can find those pictures. But I was surrounded by these blue orbs, and and strangely enough, that's about the color of blue, if that really shows up as blue. It's sort of a powder blue to me. And these things were like sapphire, and some of them were deeper colors, and some of them were lighter, and you could see through them when I took pictures of them. And but there was an entity that was there that spoke to me in my head. One of the first times I'd had that type of experience. Now, I've had my spirit guide yak at me, and I've had, Mother Mary come and kick my butt a few times, but in as far as being like contacted by a spirit in the neighborhood kind of thing, now this has been quite a few years ago, so 5 or 6, 7, 8. So this was really new to me. But in this experience, they told she, it was an androgynous type person. And they told me at the time, I just want to talk to you. I want you to hear my voice in your head. And they told me how to, where to point the camera, what settings to use, so that I could get pictures of these orbs that were all around me, which is what I did. And so I was like, well, is there anything that you want to tell me, person in my head? And they were, I just want you to hear me so that you will know my voice, because in the future, I will come back and. So while I'm reading this about the snake intertwining, guess who just out of the blue pops into my head? This entity that I met while I was in Ohio there with all these spear beings that I was surrounded me. So not quite sure what that was, but I mean, it was really hard to try to read the last little bit of that, because I'm hearing this conversation in my head. Just to say, hey, I'm here, and I'm part of the snake. I am two that has become one. So in this idea of androgyny, if you will, male, female, or both, or um, is that it's the snake intertwined. So it's these people, these beings. I shouldn't necessarily say people, but anyway, these beings. That just an interesting take. I don't have any more information other than that, and I thought I'd share that I just got contacted by somebody who stops in every once in a while and just says, "Here, remember me?" Well, at this particular place and time, to have this being kind of show up in my head and go, "Remember me?" Especially out of the blue, when nothing has sort of related for me to have had that thought about him. Anyway, if anything occurs more, I'll let you know on that aspect. But that's an interesting, interesting, Okay, so that was for Barry. All right, Barry, did that have anything? Wait a minute, I've got to put my glasses on. I can't read. I'm celebrating the read. So it did make sense to you. Hey, David Castle. Let's see. Barry, Teresa, Barry, Chad, Project Skyfalls. I hope I get my spirit animal. You mean as a card? Okay, I've been trying to avoid this one. Good, Barry. Good. Okay. I'm trying my best not to pull this card. Guess who shows up again? Rabbit. Now I got to read it, because I do think that it is of importance in this day and time. Thank you, David Castle, and blessings back to you as well. Rabbit, number 30. Now, I've been trying to hide this card, right? Because it keeps kind of showing up, and it's like, I've read Rabbit so many times. It's like, can we get away from this, But Rabbit is fear. And I think this sort of fits in with Eagle earlier. And guess what? Rabbit will go out in the field and scream at the eagle, come eat me, come eat me. And so there's, so Rabbit. And I was really trying not to pick this card, and it pulled up again anyway. Scared little rabbit, please drop your fright. Running doesn't stop the pain, nor turn the dark to light. So there's this story about the rabbit that's quite lengthy. And basically, Rabbit was walking with Eyewalker, who was a witch. And they stopped, and Rabbit was walking along, and Rabbit said, I'm thirsty. So Walker picked up a leaf, blew on it, and then handed it to Rabbit, and Rabbit had something to drink. Later on, Rabbit said, I'm hungry, and Eyewalker picked up a stone and blew on it, and it changed into a turnip. She gave it to Rabbit. Rabbit didn't say anything. He didn't thank her for the water, didn't thank her for the turnip. They continued along for a while, and when they were near the top of this mountain, Rabbit tripped and fell and rolled almost all the way back down to the bottom. Rabbit was in such a sad condition when I Walker got to him. She used a little magic salve on Rabbit to heal him. Rabbit didn't say anything. So several days later, I Walker went searching for her friend Rabbit. She couldn't find him. She looked here and there and high and low, and Rabbit couldn't be found. And then finally, she gave up. And then one day she just met Rabbit quite by surprise, an accident. Rabbit said, "Why are you hiding and avoiding me?" The witch asked. And Rabbit said, "Because I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of magic. Leave me alone." And I see, and Eyewalker said, "I see. I've used my magical powers on your behalf, and now you turn up your nose and refuse my friendship?" And Rabbit said, "I want nothing to do with you. Leave me alone and go away." And so Eyewalker was really upset about this and said, that we've been friends, but now that we're not friends anymore, I curse you. It is within my power to destroy you, but because of the past and the medicines we have shared together, I will not do this. But from this day forward, I lay a curse on you and your tribe. From now on, you will call your fears, and your fears will come to you. Be on your way, for the sweet medicine that bound us together as friends are now broken. Now, Rabbit is called the fear caller. He goes out and shouts, "Eagle, I am so afraid of you." If Eagle doesn't hear him, Rabbit calls louder, "Eagle, stay away from me." Eagle, now hearing Rabbit, comes and eats him. Rabbit calls bobcats, wolves, coyotes, and even snakes until they come. Interesting that Snake and Eagle were both in this, but as the story shows, rabbit medicine people are so afraid of tragedy, illness, disaster, and being taken, like eaten from a eagle, that they call those very fears to them to teach them lessons. The keynote here is what you resist will persist, meaning change. What you fear most is what you will become. Here is the lesson. If you pulled Rabbit, stop talking about horrible things happening and get rid of what if in your vocabulary. And maybe the Rabbit card is very appropriate for this conversation. How about that? If you pull the Rabbit card, stop talking about horrible things happening and get rid of what if in your vocabulary. This card may signal a time of worry about the future or of trying to exercise your control over that which is not yet in form. A lot of people scared, and so we're calling this fear to us, and in the form and what our control over that which is not yet in form. In other words, the future. Stop now. Write your fears down and be willing to feel them. Breathe into them and feel them running through your body into Mother Earth as a giveaway. So, maybe Rabbit card was, they were, kept saying, "Hey, pull this card. You need to read Rabbit." Because, right now there are many people that are calling fear to them, So, but anyway, and it did, who wanted a card? I forgot. Okay, Teresa, my paradigm. We are all rabbits, eagles, bears, lions, and snakes. Yep, in one way or another. Yep. Well, and we are what we think we are, but there are times when we become things that we don't understand. In other words, pulling this Rabbit card, it's not that we are rabbits, but that we are acting rabbit-like, our behavior. So these cards that come up, and as much as I shuffled the cards, Eagle was on the bottom again. Sarah wants a card. Is that Teresa? Is that okay? Oops. I was about to make a goof up here. Goofily. Okay. I split the deck and pulled a card, and they were like, "That's the one." So, Sarah, this one's supposed to be for you. All right. That was just odd how that popped out of the deck, but not really. You know, we have more odd things than that happen. 26, squirrel, right side up. And I don't remember reading squirrel, at least not in a while. And I got to get my other glasses. I got to do a twofer thingy here. I'm having difficulty reading the print. Yes, Jody, you can have one too. You'll be next in line, okay? Just simply because I saw your name. You know, there are a lot of signs and symbols. I know Jody and I have talked kind of sort of offline, and there are a lot of signs that are going on right now. I mean, in movies and in things and stuff. And I'm Jody, just asking, have you noticed more signs and things, if you know what I mean? As in cheers, you know? All right. Squirrel teaches you. Okay, let me back up here. Hey, Truth and Within, how are you? If I've missed somebody, I love you, okay? And I'll get back with you. Squirrel, you have gathered nuts by the score, exactly predicting if you'll need more. Now, this is interesting. We were talking way back about earlier in this broadcast about food and storage and preparing. Interesting. So you have gathered nuts by the score, exactly predicting if you'll need more. Teach me to take no more than I need, trusting great mystery to harvest the seed. So squirrel teaches you to plan ahead for the winter when the trees are bare and the nuts have long since disappeared. Squirrel medicine can come in many forms, as this furry creature is very diverse in nature. It's a rat with a fuzzy tail, but they're a lot cuter. The erratic behavior of squirrel has bested many a forlorn hunter, and it thus stands to reason that there are benefits to being able to circle a branch at lightning speed. This erratic behavior of squirrel can also get nerve-wracking if you are dealing with persons who have squirrel medicine. In other words, they get a little squirrely. Trying to calm them down enough to accomplish something may drive you nuts. The gathering power of squirrel medicine is a great gift. It teaches you how to gather and store your energy for times of need. It teaches, man, I was talking about this, a can a day. Anyway, it teaches you to reserve something for future use, whether it be a judgment, an opinion, a savings account, candles, or extra food. To put it in a nutshell, squirrel is the Boy Scout of the animal kingdom, always prepared. Man, no wonder they wanted me to pull this card. In today's world of changing times and fortunes, now this book goes back into the 80s, okay? It is the wise person who prepares for the future. Our prophecies have all spoken of the end of the millennium and the changes to come. Squirrel is a friendly medicine to have in light of possible future rainy days. Its message is to be prepared, but not to go nuts. Love yourself enough to gather the goods that will meet your needs in times of scarcity, even if that time never comes. If squirrel has scurried into your cards today, it may be that you are being told to honor your future by readying yourself for change. The message could be to lighten your load if you have gathered too many things that do not serve you. Junk, in other words, stuff. These things can include thoughts, worries, pressures, stresses, or gadgets that have been broken for years. Squirrels hollering at me too. In understanding the balance involved in gathering, we need to look at the idea of circulating the stock of what you have gathered. Call the nearest thrift store and give them the gadget to someone who can benefit from them. If something no longer grows corn for you, then it is time to let it go. I got rid of something again today. Squirrel has another lesson which can aid you if you observe what is obvious, and which can prepare you for anything. It has to do with the safe place in which to put your gatherings. The safe place is an untroubled heart and mind, and that which is gathered to put in its place is wisdom and caring. The energies gathered will set your mind and heart free so that you will know that all will be taken care of in its own time. Apply this to your fears about the future. Rabbit talking about future, and they will vanish. Now I'm going to read the contrary because they're like tapping me on the shoulder going, the contrary medicine of squirrel is the hoarder, a fearful person who expects the worst and is stuck in waiting. Waiting for something to happen is the trap. No action equals stagnation, but a little of squirrel's erratic energy might get things moving again. If squirrel is hanging upside down on your branch, you may have begun seeing the world through opposites, hoarding your thoughts of abundance so that fear of scarcity takes hold. You may ask yourself, number one, have I denied my ability to produce enough space for abundance to enter into my life? In other words, do we hold on to too many negatives and there's nothing, we're full, Two, have I denied my connection to the earth mother from whom all things flow? Number three, in moving too fast, as squirrel does, have I taken on the erratic nature of squirrel without having any focus? I was running around the yard today earlier trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And anyway, but number four, am I leaking my energy on worry instead of gathering power through being prepared? Remember, one of the squirrel family gathered the energy of eagle. Oh my God, there's eagle again. Remember, one of the squirrel family gathered the energy of eagle and connected to the Great Spirit. Now this squirrel can fly. Wow. I mean, there's eagle in this too. Wow. That's just, wowzers. Okay. So, squirrel, was that for somebody? I'm sorry. My brain is like, there's too many voices, I guess. Who was that card for? That was Sarah's. Sarah, you can resonate with that? Okie doke. Me too, but the connection with eagle and the eagle with the thing with the fears and the gathering and the letting go. Oh, wow. And with the topic of the earlier discussion, there are times when I scare myself about this. Let me tell you, y'all. Jody's next. Okay, my friend, Jody. Okay, they want you to have this card. I split the deck and then it was it's the Lynx. And it's number 18. I don't think I've ever pulled this card, ever. So this should be interesting. But when I split the cards open, there are times when they say, don't look. And I'm like, okay. And then I opened it up and they're like, look at me. Okay, so what? I am Serzante Eagle. Cool beans. Jody's next. So Jody, it seems like Lynx wants to chat with you or have a message. Yeah, because I asked the rest of the cards and they were like, nope, that's his. So this is interesting. Secrets. Ooh. Can I take a quick break here? A little bit of coffee. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. I love you all. Thanks for showing up. Without you all, I'd be sitting here talking to myself, which I do on too many occasions, I guess you could say. But here I am talking to myself again, right? Yeah, let me take just a quick little couple of puffs on a cigarette and a break and stretch a little bit. Hey, y'all hold that thought. I got to check the stove, okay? Honestly, I got to put wood in the stove. Y'all hold that thought. Talks amongst yourselves. Oh my God! Thank goodness I looked. Woo-hoo. Yeah, holy moly! I got me some coals on this stove. I do. Woo wee doggies. No, I ain't run out on you. I still got to get this little. Ooh, that heat'd be working good. Got me a good bed of coals down in there. And for those of you, I've been burning wood for the last 40 some odd years. And I still like burning wood. But let me tell you what, this hunting and gathering and splitting and all that, whew, holy moly, let me just tell you. I was outside earlier going, I really don't want to freaking do this, split firewood, I really don't want to be out here in the cold. And at the moment, I'm like really glad I went out there in the cold because it's nice and toasty in the house. So, but anyway, so to kind of go back over a little bit. So the first one was Eagle, and talking about fears and so forth. And, then we got the snakes, so the shedding. And, but all these cards, even pulled for someone else, seem to have there is a connection between them, which always interests me, right? I'm not going to smoke the whole thing because this is my last cigarette. Now I roll my own, but Lynx, you know the secrets so very well, the dream time and the magic, but you'll never tell. May I learn to hold my tongue, observe like the Sphinx, powerful yet silent, the medicine of Lynx. Interesting. Secrets. I've never read this, okay, as long as I've had these cards and everything. Oh, and by the way, friends of mine who gave me these cards and sent them to me, some folks that I've known for a good many years, okay? I did theater with Mr. John, and his wife's a lovely person. And they used to live in Tallahassee, then moved out to Oregon, and now are in Minnesota. And if you and Chris are listening, I love you, and call me sometime. I still have the same phone number. But anyway, we'd had many conversations before they moved many years ago. And in that, we talked about Native American things, and she's given me a couple of books and so forth. Truth is Within is the next card. Okay, so this one's for Jody, though. Lynx. But in this, you know, we lost touch. I lost their phone number. But here's the thing: no matter what, after all these years of knowing these folks, um, they showed up in the comments section the other day in one of the videos and said, "Hey, Dave, you know, this is from John and up in Minnesota." So I just think that's absolutely marvelous, and that something that she gave me years ago. And thank you, Christine. Um, she had faith in me when I was lacking faith, and I love that about her. So she sent me the cards and sent me things because somehow in our conversation years ago, she understood that there was something else I was going to be doing. And here I am using her cards, and well, that she had, and gave them to me as a gift. So that's enough cigarette. Let me have some coffee and I'll get back with you. Truth Within, what did you get? Oh, the next card. Okay. This is just going to be interesting. I want to read this little poem at the beginning again. Links, you know the secrets so very well, the dream time and the magic, but you'll never tell. May I learn to hold my tongue, observe like the Sphinx, powerful yet silent, the medicine of links. Now it's secrets, and the number is 18 in the book if you're into numbers. That would be a 9. It is said that if you want to find a secret, ask Link's medicine. Unfortunately, it is difficult to get the silent links to speak. To be confronted by the powerful medicine of links signifies that you do not know something about yourself or others, that you do not know something about yourself or others. Links is the keeper of secrets of lost magical systems and the occult knowledge. Links has the ability to move through time and space and to go into the great silence for unraveling any mystery. Links is not the guardian of secrets, but the knower of secrets. The problem lies in getting Links to instruct you. He or she would rather be off chasing a bird or kicking sand in your face than running circles around you. Link's medicine is a very specific type of clairvoyance. If this medicine is strong in you, you will get mental pictures concerning other people and the exact things they have hidden, either from themselves or from others. You will see their fears, their lies, and their self-deception. You will also know where they have hidden the treasure, if there is any. You never speak of these revelations, you simply know. The only way you can coax information about yourself out of a Link's medicine person, in case you have forgotten where you hid the treasure, is to respect the practices of his or her tradition. If you go to a gypsy with Link's medicine, you must show respect by paying with money after the reading. If you go to a Choctaw medicine person, he or she will reach into your midsection or use other traditional medicines to help you. A blanket or tobacco should be given in exchange for the medicine he or she has performed for you. This operation is known as the Law of the Links people and is practiced by Native American, uh, Gypsy, Sufi, and Egyptian cultures, among others. If you pull the Links card, you can be sure that secrets are afloat. If this is your personal medicine, you should listen to your higher self. Be still and pay attention to the revelations you receive, either in the form of mental pictures or through a high singing voice in your inner ear. Perhaps you will receive information in the form of omens. You can be sure that Mother Earth is signaling you in some manner. If Lynx is at your door, listen. Brother or sister Lynx can teach you of your personal power and of things you have forgotten about yourself. Lynx can lead you to lost treasures and connect you to forgotten brotherhoods or sisterhoods. Some medicine people believe that the Sphinx of ancient Egypt was not a lion, but a lynx. This lynx does not say much. With an enigmatic smile, the great cat watches over the sands forever. Now, they're telling me to read the contrary about this too. If lynx has appeared in the reverse position, which it did not, it is time to shut your big mouth. Something you are jabbering about has let the cat out of the bag. Are you defiling a sacred trust, or have you broken a promise to a friend? If not, you may have pulled a good boner on yourself by blabbing your latest idea to a friend of a competitor. Watch your tongue and see if you are able to refrain from gossiping or talking about your latest romantic conquest. Look and see if in your present state you are able to listen and truly be interested in someone else's stories or ideas. On this level, Lynx is telling you to become worthy of trust. Then the secrets will be available to you. You might look at choosing to have your brain in gear before your babble starts, or your foot may have to replace your tongue, meaning foot and mouth disease. This is the know it all syndrome. Fine, if you want to talk, just sew up your ears. After all, talking leaves no room for hearing or learning. Lynx is a tough teacher, and if you have to let the cat out of the bag, be ready for the consequences. Become Lynx and wear the Mona Lisa smile. Only you will know what you're smiling about. The cat will not have your tongue. You will, as well as the power over it. So, anyway, hi Brandy, Julianne, how are you? Um, Johan. Okay, so Jody, did Lynx fit in any way? That's an interesting card. Let me say, secrets. I've never pulled that card in any of my readings ever before. And truth within, you're the next, right? Okay, I'm doing my best here. They don't want to. These cards they don't want to shuffle. That's interesting. They're like, no, 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 don't shuffle me. I always search for the card anyway. So this is for truth in, and we are going to take a sip of coffee. Say thanks, Bob. Yes, in more ways than one that related. You're absolutely welcome, Jody. It related to me too. All of these cards relate in some way to me too. Brandy Robinson, how are you? Anybody else that I miss? It's good to see everybody in here, really. Deborah Tucker, or Truex, sorry. I know I have a friend of mine that's named Deborah Tucker, and I saw the Deborah, and it went to Deborah Tucker. Anyway, I was shuffling the cards, and one popped out, and I'm shuffling them again. I'm gonna go through them, but most of the time, the ones that just get picked. This one's for you, Truth. There's several cards. I let them go through my fingers, and I feel underneath. And if there's a particular energy, they want me to stop at a card. Now, there's that card too. Um, no, they're saying you get two cards, Truth. Okay. But and they want me to do this one that kind of popped out on its own. And whoa, we got an upside down snake. So we've already read snake and the upside down, but armadillo was what came up. They said, here, look at this card. But the fact that snake card came back out, remember back to that Truth in Me, it's like, Este, I'm on for it. How are you? It is the transmutation of things, but armadillo is the one that popped out first. And I was trying to look for another, and they were like, here's your card. Number 28. Now, and it was upright. Okay, so armadillo, armor all my boundaries, teach me my shields, reflect all the hurt, so I will not yield. Armadillo is about boundaries. Armadillo wears its armor on its back, its medicine a part of its body. Its boundaries of safety are a part of its total being. Armadillo can roll into a ball and never be penetrated by enemies. What a gift it is to set your boundaries so that harmful words or intentions just roll off. Your lesson is in setting up what you are willing to experience. If you do not wish to experience feeling invaded, just call on armadillo medicine. A clue to how to proceed is to make a circle on a piece of paper and see it as a medicine shield. In the body of the shield, write all that you are desiring to have, to do or experience. Include all the things that give you joy. This sets up boundaries that will allow only those chosen experiences to be a part of your life. These boundaries become a shield that ward off the things which are undesirable to you. The shield reflects what you are and what your will is to others on an unconscious level. Outside of the shield, you may put what you are willing to experience by invitation only. For example, a visit from a long lost relative or criticism from friends or people needing handouts. If armadillo has waddled into the cards you choose, it is time to define your space. This seems to be whatever that means. Define your space. You may have been too willing to let your home become a bus station. You may find that you cannot say no, even when you know that you will have to cancel plans to be obliging to the other folks. This routine can get old in a hurry. It may be time to ask yourself the following questions. Number one, am I honoring the time I need for my own personal enjoyment? Number two, do others treat me like a doormat? Number three, why do I always get upset when I'm taken for granted? Number four, is there a reason for my being a yes person? All of the answers to these questions relate to setting up boundaries, what you will and won't do, what makes you feel uncomfortable, and what is comforting to you. How you react in any circumstance has to do with your ability to be objective. You cannot be objective if you cannot tell where the other person's personality stops and where yours begins. If you have no boundaries, you're like a sponge. It will seem as if all the feelings in a room full of people must be your feelings. Ask yourself if you are really feeling depressed or if this feeling actually belongs to the person you are talking to. Then allow armadillo's armor to slice in between, giving you back your sense of self. Okay, Truth, did that help or whatever? That was your card, but also they said to reinforce that with snake. So the transmutation. So you have to go back and listen to the snake again. I'm not going to read that one over. But that was a second card. And I think that the reinforcement We all need to make sure we know where our boundaries lie, you know, and but making a circle on a piece of paper and writing what we want in it, and those things that we will we will allow in with permission. Do I want to continue doing what? Do I want to continue doing what, Teresa? Sitting here and yakking with you folks, or doing another card, or I'm picking on you, of course. Yeah, if somebody else, sure, I'll do. If somebody else wants a card, I'll do my best. You know, that clears things up greatly, and I have the cards, and we'll read the snake. That was uh, bang on, actually. Okay, and the snake was upside down, by the way. True. Just for what I pulled. So it's just one thing to say, okie dokie. Um, but we're all in a, we should all get rid of our. You're welcome, Truth. Uh, Anne-Marie from Romania. Michelle, I do remember somebody in my Facebook, I think, that was Anne Marie. I think she was in Romania, actually. Um, what does that mean, Michelle? Okay, so did somebody want a card? I didn't see. Okay, Michelle, you want a card? Okay. Oh, it's you. I get it. Crescente. It's you. I got it. I got it. I understand. Well, hi there. We've never had a chance to talk, but and I'm always running my mouth. So, okay. So, Anne Marie Crescente, if I got that right, it's good to know that you're still around. And I would still love to come to Romania. I really would. Now that's come up twice. I got to pull this one off to the side. They're telling me don't even look, that's the card. Okay. All right. It popped up twice and I was trying to ignore it, and they're going, nah, I can't do that. Well, thank you. I I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to, to get over there, but I've thought, that there's just something about, to me, is the old country. And I think that I'm a reincarnated something from over there, and I would love to be able to just go over there and wander around. But anyway, so here's your card, all right? And it came to me twice, and it's Mouse, number 20. And I don't know if I've read this card either, ever. So I know that Lynx was new. No, I have read Mouse. Okay, so here we go. Mouse, number 20, is scrutiny. The poem is, Mouse, if I could see the world through your tiny eyes, maybe then I would know how to scrutinize. Every detail carries weight, and true to its purpose, has its perfect puzzle place to stop the three-ring circus. Truth says LOL, both cards have significant meaning for me these days. Much love to you, and you're welcome, Truth. Absolutely. Now, so Mouse is scrutiny. Mouse says, I will touch everything with my whiskers in order to know it. Paradoxically, this is both a great power and a great weakness. It is good medicine to see up close. It is good medicine to pay attention to detail, but it is bad medicine to chew every little thing to pieces. Man to be, hi, how are you? Mouse has many predatory enemies, including bats, snakes, and cats. Since mouse is food for many, it has a highly developed sense of danger at every turn. So called civilization is a highly complex set of components which calls for more and more organizational skills and scrutiny to detail in every year. Mouse is a powerful medicine to have in these modern times. Things that might appear insignificant to others take on an enormous importance to mouse. Mouse people anger many other medicine types because they appear to be nitpickers. Mouse people will spot the lint on your coat even if it matches in color. They will try to convince you that the simplest task is fraught with difficulty. They are fixated on mythology, not, I'm sorry, methodology, not mythology, methodology, how it works. They sort and categorize and file away everything for later use. They may seem like they are hoarding, but this is the furthest thing from Mouse's mind. They are merely putting everything in order so that they will be able to explore it more carefully at a later date. The chiefs tell us that without mouse, there would be no systemization of knowledge. In other words, there would be no Rolodex file. Mouse ended Renaissance man and hearkened the age of specialization. Mouse knew from the very beginning that there is always more to learn. One can always delve deeper and deeper and deeper. If your personal medicine is mouse, you may be fearful of life, but very well organized, with a compartment for everything. You should try to see a larger picture than the one staring at you in your face. Develop largest of spirit. I think they're trying to say largeness of spirit. Try to become aware of the great dance of life. Realize that even though you may be sitting in Los Angeles, there is also a New York, a moon, a solar system, a galaxy, and an infinite universe. Jump high, little friend. You will glimpse the sacred mountain. If mouse is in your card spread, its medicine is telling you to scrutinize. Look at yourself and others carefully. Maybe that big hunk of cheese is sitting on a trigger that will spring a deadly trap. Maybe the cat is in the pantry waiting for you. Maybe someone to whom you have delegated authority, such as a doctor, a lawyer, or even a plumber, is not doing the job faithfully. The message is to see what is right before your eyes and to take action accordingly. Now, mouse was right side up, but they're telling me to read the contrary of this. There's usually a message in there. Mouse in the contrary position may be telling you that you are spending too much time with matters of great consequence when you should be paying a traffic ticket or sweeping the Hogan lodge. You may have let yourself become slovenly. You may have developed a disdain for authority and order. You may be procrastinating about something that needs immediate attention. Bring mouse into your life, into your life's chaos, and you will soon have everything tidy and ship-shape. Another message of mouse reversed. Now, remember, it was straight up. Maybe that you are pipe dreaming about your own importance in life. Are you wondering why you have not been nominated for the Academy Awards? You can't be recognized if you're not taking care of life's details and walking in humility. Remember that all good things come to those willing to work towards wholeness. Little mouse needs to see the big picture, but only assimilate the information the picture gives a little at a time. Expansiveness can be overwhelming if you forget to take it step by step. Confusion is a product of too much too soon. Little mouse can conquer any task by using its scrutiny. Slow down and write the contrary medicine. Stop chasing your tail or being confused by the maze and start observing the detail of your present pathway. So, anyway, Marie, I think that was for you. And, scrutinize whatever it is that may be there. So, I can't remember who was next. I forgot. Raise your hand. And let me know if that made any sense, because that came to me twice. I was trying to bury the card. So, somebody raise your hand. Who's the next? I forgot. Brandy. Okay. It did make a good. Okay. See, that encourages me that I'm at least paying attention to the cards. You know what I mean? So thank you, Marie. And Brandy. Okay, Brandy, you're next. All right. So Brandy, think of whatever it is you need to be thinking about. And yeah, they're telling me to shuffle the cards. It was interesting. They showed me the armadillo and said, but so apparently armadillo means something to you, Brandy. And that's to pick boundaries. So, but that wasn't the main card they wanted you to see. But they were saying that the armadillo card, that one was for you as well. So, babies in Australia still suffering. Yeah. All right. So, Brandy, this one's for you. Brandy, it's a fine wine, a good life, you and me. Interesting. They had two cards. Interesting. So the first one that I pulled, it was like, and then it went on down to the next one, coyote. And the first one is owl. So they're telling me to read the coyote first. Coyote is the trickster. Coyote, you devil, you tricked me once more. Must I sit and ponder what you did it for? There are thousands of myths and stories about Coyote, the great trickster. Many native cultures call Coyote the medicine dog. If you had pulled this card, you can be sure that some kind of medicine is on its way. If you have pulled this card, you can be sure that some kind of medicine is on its way. And it may or may not be to your liking. Whatever the medicine is, good or bad, you can be sure it will make you laugh, maybe even painfully. So you can also be sure that Coyote will teach you a lesson about yourself. Coyote has many magical powers, but they do not always work in his favor. His own trickery fools him. He is the master trickster who tricks himself. No one is more astonished than Coyote at the outcome of his own tricks. He falls into his own trap, and yet he somehow manages to survive. He may be banged and bruised by the experience, but he soon goes on his way to even greater error, forgetting to learn from his mistakes. He may have lost the battle, but he is never beaten. Coyote is sacred. In the folly of his acts, we see our own foolishness. As Coyote moves from one disaster to the next, he refines the art of self sabotage to a sheer perfection. Wile E. Coyote, right? No one can blindly do themselves to themselves or others in more grace and ease than this holy trickster. Coyote takes himself so seriously at times that he cannot see the obvious. For example, the steamroller that's about to run him over. That is why when it hits him, he still cannot believe it. Was that really a steamroller? I better go look, he says, and he's run over once again. Contained within trickster medicine is the humor of the ages. The cosmic joke is just not on ourselves, but on everyone else. If they are following Coyote or have strong Coyote medicine, someone like this might be able to convince others that a skunk smells like roses, but the fact remains that it is still a skunk. Snooze time is over if you pulled the Coyote medicine card. Watch out. Your glass house may be crashed to the ground at any moment. All your mirrors, wait, all your self mirrors may shatter. The divine trickster is dogging you, and you may trip. Coyote scratches under his arm. He does a crazy dance. He catches his tail on fire with matches. He jumps in the fish pond to save himself and then nearly drowns. Coyote seduces a concrete statue. Coyote thinks that he's found a bone, but it is a rattlesnake. Everyone watches the comedic scene. Coyote is in you, me, booby traps, jet airplanes with toilets that don't work, blind dates, and all the humorous and whimsical things we may encounter along life's way. Get ready for more of the laughs, lots more. Go immediately beneath the surface of your experiences. Ask yourself what you are really doing and why. Is Coyote your medicine? Are you playing jokes on yourself? Are you trying to fool an adversary? Is someone tricking you? Do you want to give the office geek the phone number of the beautiful new secretary? Or do you want to pull a boner on your best friend? When was the last time you did something just because it was crazy and fun? On the other hand, you may not be conscious of your own pathway of foolishness. Get this. On the other hand, you may not be conscious of your own pathway of foolishness. You may have conned yourself, your family, your friends, or even the public at large into believing that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about. But listen, Coyote, you are balled up in your own machinations. You have created a befuddling, bewildering, confounding trick. Pick up the juggler eyes from the ground and put them back in their sockets. See through the genius of your acts of self-sabotage. Find it amusing, laugh, trickster, laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself and your crazy antics, you have lost the game. Coyote always comes calling when things get too serious. The medicine is in laughing and joking so that new viewpoints may be assumed. If you have Coyote medicine, you may use it to make a stuffy old fogey lighten up, to add cheer to a party, or to break a death grip conversation with ease. Look at the positive side of sabotaging nosy questions about your personal life. Have fun telling some gossiper that you just returned from St. Tropez in your new Learjet. Now, it was right side up. Now, they're telling me I got to read Al. So, there are many of us who, unbeknownst to ourselves, and I knew that I learned this years ago myself, that I was, at one point I had Coyote medicine, and now I see why Owl is the next one. It's called deception. Owl, magic omens, time and space. Does the truth emerge, casting out deception, silent flight, sacred medicine bird. Owl medicine is symbolically associated with clairvoyance and astral projection and magic of both black and white. Owl is called the night eagle on several medicine wheels by Amerindian teachers. Traditionally, owl sits in the east, the place of illumination. Since time immemorial, humanity has been afraid of the dark, the night, and the unseen, waiting fearfully for the first crack of morning light. Conversely, night is owl's friend. Owl hunts its prey at night. Not only can owl see in the dark, it can also accurately pinpoint and identify any sound. This gives it a great advantage when seeking food. Owls are the night hunters. Some native peoples are fearful of owl and call its feathers deceiver feathers. An owl feather is silent. You cannot hear owl when it flies, but its prey definitely knows when it strikes, for its beak and talons are sharp, razor sharp. Owl is oftentimes the medicine of sorcerers and witches. Wishes, right. If owl is your medicine, you will be drawn to magical practices and perhaps explore the dark arts. You should resist any temptation to practice black magic or any art that takes energy away from another person or being. If you have owl medicine, these night birds will have a tendency to collect around you, even in the daytime, because they recognize a kinship with you. Is it any wonder that in many cultures, owl is a symbol for wisdom? This is because owl can see that which others cannot, which is the essence of true wisdom. Where others are deceived, owl sees and knows what is there. Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, had a companion owl on her shoulder, which revealed unseen truths to her. Owl had the ability to light up Athena's blind side, enabling her to speak the whole truth as opposed to only a half truth. If owl is in your personal medicine, no one can deceive you about what they are doing, no matter how they try to disguise or hide it from you. You may be a little frightening to be around, since so many people have ulterior motives, which you see right through. If you are unaware of your medicine power, you may take your keen insights and abilities for granted. Others never do. You may frighten them and reflect their blindness, for you cannot be fooled. Owl medicine people know more about an individual's inner life than that person knows about herself or himself. If you pulled the owl card, you are being asked to use your powers of keen, silent observation to intuit some life situation. Owl is befriending you and aiding you in seeing the total truth. Owl can bring you messages in the night through dreams or meditation. Pay attention to the signals and omens. The truth always brings further enlightenment. So that was a twofer, but I could see where Al, we're all in an age of deception right now. We don't know who to trust. Okay, one more card at least, and that'll make it like 2 hours. We'll see how I go. So I can't remember who that was for. Too many images and thoughts in my brain. So they're brutally honest, huh? Thank you, Deborah. And this armadillo card keeps wanting to. Oh, that was for you, Brandy. So did both of them make sense, Brandy? One more than the other? I'm just curious. Because we're all moving to the swamp with Hawkeye. Delaney says, I know how to build anything. Adriana, that was a beautiful message. Oh, yes. Okay, Brent. But which one, owl or the coyote? That was your other card, right? 1133. It's 133 here. All right. I'm sorry. Somebody had their hand up and I forgot. Who was it once a card read? Love you too, Amanda. Both of them did, Brandy. Okay. Sometimes one is more than the other. It was interesting that I pulled the one they were like, nah. Michelle, if this is this for you? I think you wanted one. I can't remember. I got too many thoughts going through my brain. Me and my tiny little brain. So at 1:34 in the morning, I love you all. Thank you for your participation in this world. It does make a great difference. For each of us out there, we have our own paths, but each of our paths make a uh, bring your own kayak. I have 5 kayaks and a canoe. So just saying, Deborah. And probably enough, PFDs, personal flotation devices. Oh, you didn't ask for one? Okay. I forgot. You too, Barry. Thanks for hanging out with me. Um, in the you'll take one? Oh, Adriana, I'd love a card. Okay, I'll do one for 4 more hours. Oh, Michelle, if you only knew. Okay, Adriana, are you new here? It's good to see you. I'm not sure, but I've recognized names, and yours is like less familiar than others. But it is good to see everybody here. It is good to know. Each of our lives has got its own issues. Like I'm 68, and it's getting tougher every year to cut firewood and keep the heater going. Speaking of which, I need to go make sure. Yeah, no coincidences. Hang on. Let me go to the heater and make sure I got wood in there. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Oh, we woke Duggar up. Yeah, I hated to go outside and cut firewood in the cold, and it was like 44 degrees today was the high. And for South Georgia, that's like you know, that's chilly. We've been like 12 to 15 degrees below normal these last couple of weeks. 4 more hours. Don't even. Don't even, Michelle. I'd have to take a couple of bathroom breaks in there. All right. So Texas got snow. Yeah, in northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. Ain't that? And this is the kind of storm where we would get snow if that low moves over a little bit in the cold weather. It was cold enough the other night. It was spitting. I was like, this could at least be sleet. But anyway, who is this card for? Oh, Adriana. To our newfound friend and family. That's interesting. I mean, we picked two. At the beach with tracksuit pants on. Okay, they made me pick two. The first one is otter upside down. Now, otter is one of my totems. Ooh, and the other one is skunk upside down. That's interesting. Otter, number 8. I've told this story before, but I did a 2-day meditation down on the river. And the first night I did it, I was visited by owl early in the yeah, and both are inverted. Yeah. Woo, otter is woman medicine. How about this one? Otter, so playful, coquettes by the stream, the medicine of woman, the realized dream. The medicine held by otter is a set of lessons in female energy. This applies to both men and women, as all of us have female sides. The otter's hide is often used to make medicine bags for powerful women because it represents balanced female energy. Otter is very caring of its young and will play for hours, performing all types of acrobatics. It lives on land but always has its home near water. The elements of earth and water are the female elements. At home in both of these elements, otter is the personification of femininity, long, sleek, and graceful. They're beautiful critters. Otter is the true coquette of the animal world. Otter is always on the move and is very curious. Unlike other animals, otter will not start a fight unless it's attacked first. This joyful little creature is adventuresome and assumes that all other creatures are friendly until proven otherwise. These character traits are the beauty of a balanced female side, the side of ourselves that creates a space for others to enter our lives without preconceptions or suspicions. Otter teaches us that balanced female energy is not jealousy or catty. It is sisterhood, content to enjoy and share the good fortune of others, anchored in the understanding that all accomplishments are worthwhile for the whole tribe. Otter people express joy for others. Long ago in tribal law, if a woman were widowed, her sister would offer her own husband to the widow as a lover to keep her from drying up and not using her creative urges. This is otter medicine too. Envy, or the fear of being replaced, has no place in otter's balanced understanding of sharing goodness. Woman energy without games or control is a beautiful experience. It is the freeness of love without jealousy. It is the joy of loving other people's children and their accomplishments as much as you love your own. It may be time to examine your feelings about sharing the bounty of your life with others. Otter may be saying that the finer qualities of women need to be striven for in both men and women so that a unity of spirit can be achieved. This would involve the destruction of jealousy. That's always a good thing. And all of its acts of anger would stem from that fear. I'm going to read that sentence again. This would involve the destruction of jealousy and of all acts of anger which stem from that fear. Now, jealousy can come in many forms. You know, somebody won the race and you didn't. I mean, jealousy is in a bunch of ways. So it would mean keeping a hawk eye on your ego. That's what it says, Hawkeye. And maintaining total trust. It would mean a world full of people coming together to honor the right of each person to be. If you have drawn this symbol, Otter may be telling you to become the playful child and to simply allow things to unfold in your life. It may be time to stop your addiction to worrying. Otter also teaches the importance of not hanging on to material things that would bind you or become a burden. And looking at how you learn from Otter's habits, you might look at yourself. Wait a minute. You might look at the joyness of the receptive side of your nature. Have you given yourself a gift recently? Have you received any messages in your meditations? Become Otter and move gently into the river of life. Flow with the waters of the universe. This is the way of balanced female receptive energy. Honor it. In doing so, you will discover the power of woman. Now, this was upside down. If the otter appears reversed, you may be running from one idea to another without focus. This could also imply that you have forgotten how to receive and are blocking a gift from your universe from your male side. If this is the case, you may be embarrassed to receive compliments, to have someone hug you, or to allow your genuine personality to come out. Fear of being rejected is the contrary message of Otter. Drop the seriousness on all levels and play at life so that fear rolls off your back. Realize that the only flow is the flow of love from the Great Spirit to you, from you to others, and from others back to you. I'm going to read those last two sentences. It seems important. Drop the seriousness on all levels and play at life so that fear rolls off your back. Realize that the only flow is the flow of love from the Great Spirit to you, from you to others, and from others back to you. I think that's just a good message for all of us in that respect. Now, the other card, and I have pulled this card before, but it's been a while, and it's skunk. Now, here's another thing. Now, I've been shuffling these cards around, right? And the next other thing is otter is number 8 and skunk is number 7. Just saying. I've been shuffling these cards all night, and those two cards should not be like side to side. Okay, y'all have to hold this. The second card's coming up. I gotta go. And it's important that I go. Sorry for my interruption there. So, this is an interesting contrary. Skunk, reputation. Skunk, Tell me the story so I will know it well, of how to attract and how to repel. Skunk medicine, go ahead and laugh. This furry little animal has a reputation that contains a great deal of power. Due, its, Due to its distinctive behavior, humans give this tiny, smelly little creature a wide berth. The key word here, excuse me, the key word here is respect. Unlike other predatory animals, skunk does not threaten your life, but threatens your senses. You know this to be true if you've ever been in the vicinity of its spray. In observing the habit pattern of skunk, it is easy to notice that the playfulness and nonchalance of its natural behavior. The I dare you attitude of this four legged creature commands you, as the observer, to respect its space by mere reputation alone. By reputation. Skunk is teaching you that by walking your talk and by respecting yourself, you will create a position of strength and honored reputation. The carriage of your body relates to others what you believe about yourself. There is no need to bully, aggravate, torment, or overpower others when your sense of self is intact. As with skunk, the resonant field of energy around your body, is relayed through the senses. Self-esteem permeates the body's energy and is instantly recognized on an extrasensory level by others. Learn to assert without ego what you are. Respect follows. Your self-respectful attitude will repel those who are not of like mind, and yet will attract those who choose the same pathway. As the odor of skunk attracts others of its kind, it repels those who will not respect its space. Skunk medicine people have the ability to attract others, and they are very charismatic. At the same time, the other side of their natural power is to repel those who seek to take energy from them without recycling the gifts that they have taken. Skunk medicine people also know how to use the energy that flows that will attract a lover. Some people call this sexual magic, as it is akin to the musk scent that animals excrete to attract a male. In skunk medicine, is going to learn how to handle energy flows. Modern psychologists call this body language. In tribal teaching, this is your personal medicine which you are showing to others. Use your medicine well and know that you are known by your reputation. How you use your energy will attract either honor or disgrace. You may want to examine what energy you are putting out that creates your present situation. If you have chosen this symbol, you are being asked to notice the kinds of people who are attracted to you. If they emulate favorable characteristics, have enough self-esteem to recognize those characteristics within yourself. Walk tall and be proud of the accomplishments you've made. Bear in mind that what you believe about yourself is your ultimate protection. Project self-respect. Now, this was, Adriana, this was in the contrary. So, skunk medicine operating through the contrary or the reversed position indicates that your self-esteem may seem to others if you are putting on airs. Observe whether or not you are repelling others in your vicinity because of envy, jealousy, or a projection of their low self-esteem. Now, I know folks that do this. They're so, and it's good to have their own self-esteem, but then they pick on other folks who have low self-esteem. But anyway, I'm not saying that's you, Adriana. Examine your feelings. Be truthful with yourself. Write the situation by assuming the attitude of skunk. Nonchalance. In assuming nonchalance, you are neutralizing the effect of leaking energy. In leaking vital energy, you may be stinking up your environment. This is similar to dumping all of your woes on anyone who will listen. If you are doing this, it may be time to shut your mouth and go within. You may also be leaking sexual energy and repulsing the object of your interest. That person may be too shy to tell you to lay off. Look deeply at your self image and how others are reacting to it. To balance the causes and effects of your actions and energy flows, you must decide whether or not you need to spray in the direction of others to repel their envy, their greed, jealousy, or over amorous tendencies. On the other hand, you need always to maintain your right to be. Self respect is the key to all of these situations, whereas ego is merely what you believe yourself to be. That's an interesting statement. Self respect is the key to all of these situations, whereas ego is merely what you believe yourself to be. Skunk says, if your ego is not your amigo, you know it stinks. Now that's interesting. I'm just saying. And uh, but to the point of, do through our own ego do we repel or draw folks to us? And if our ego is too much, because that's one of the things that I constantly pray about for myself, in that while I do this with you all, I have to keep myself the hell out of it. I mean, I cannot put myself into what I do, in that I have to allow the spirit within me to do it. And it isn't about my ego. But when I ask you questions, does this fit you, whatever? Because it's nice to get, feedback, Well, if I pull the card and I go, that shit didn't, it doesn't resonate with me at all, Hawkeye. What the hell are you doing here? But to the point though, so it doesn't feed my ego, but it does feed me in the sense that, okay, I must be doing something right. So if I keep practicing this and if I keep it up, maybe I'll just get better at it. So that's my hope. But in all things, especially in doing card readings or stuff like this, and sometimes, the spirits will give me messages and pass them along with y'all. And I'm always asking, make sure I am humbled and, that my ego is in check. And, I know sometimes I get a little grumpy or whatever, but, I always try to equal that out too with a little bit of nonsense along the way, So anyway, I have to listen to it again. These messages are deep. You're welcome, Adriana. Um, the two biggest things that were in that, Adriana, that they understanding that in the contrary with Otter, you may be running from one idea to another without focus. And they're telling me to read this back to you. This could also imply that you have forgotten how to receive and are blocking a gift from the universe. They wanted me to re-emphasize that to you. And the contrary skunk is observe whether or not you are repelling others in your vicinity because of envy, jealousy, or projection of their low esteem. Then it doesn't necessarily mean that you're envious of them. They could be envious of you. So, but those are the two messages from those two cards that they wanted me to repeat to you. Anyway, so you're drifting. It's been 2 hours and 19. So I'm does that raise your hand? Did somebody else? I think somebody else wanted a card. Barry. Was that, wait, who wanted the card? Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And y'all are great to hang out with too. I mean, one of these days I'm going to figure out how to do this Steam Yard thing. Oh, you wanted a card. Okay, Teresa, hang on. I'll give you one. Yep, yep, yep. And then if you fall asleep, you got a book. You know, anyway, this card's for you, for all you do. What? No, wait. You want me to, that card? Okay. Oh, I kind of sort of get this already. All right. Thank you for reading tonight. Truth to me, thank you. It's Badger. It's number 29. And I'm like, well, okay. But it's interesting that they're kind of throwing the cards out at me tonight versus I got to search them. For me, that's interesting. You know, like here, no, here's one. No, but no, listen. Badger, aggressiveness. Okay. Oh, Teresa. Anyway. All right. This is the last card for tonight. Unless somebody raises your hand soon. Teresa, this card's for you. Badger, badger, badger. I got to put my other glasses on. These are my bifocals. I have a big pair and a smaller pair. Badger, 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 until you reach your goal, know the inner power that lives in your soul. Badger is vicious and attacks with powerful aggression. Badger is quick to anger and quicker to pounce. The power of Badger's medicine is aggressiveness and the willingness to fight for what it wants. The very thought of facing Badger makes other animals run for cover. Like skunk, interesting, Badger's reputation precedes it. Its hissing fangs will tear less aggressive opponents to shreds. Badger is the medicine of many powerful medicine women. For Badger, it is also the keeper of the medicine roots. Badger sees all the roots of Mother Earth healing's herbs hanging in its burrow home. These roots are the key to aggressive healing. Roots can ground negativity into the earth by allowing illness to pass through a body into the ground as neutral energy. Badger medicine people are quick to act in a crisis, and they do not panic. If Badger is a part of your medicine, you are quick to express your feelings, and you do not care what the consequences are. Be careful. Badger people oftentimes insist on carrying the ball for the touchdown. This attitude, however, does not endear them to their teammates. Badger medicine may also point to the aggressive healer who will have the courage to use unconventional means to exact a cure. Like the mother who sits for days nursing a child with high fever, Badger is willing to persist. Badger people can be vicious. Say that again. Badger people can be vicious gossips or may exhibit a chip on the shoulder syndrome if they are out of balance. You can be sure that people with Badger medicine will be aggressive enough to make it to the tops of their chosen fields because they do not give up. They are also the finest healers because they will use any and all methods to ensure healing and will not give up on the critically ill. A Badger person is often the boss and the one that everyone fears. That same boss will surely keep any company afloat. Badger gets the job accomplished. Badger's certainty is a source of strength. If Badger pushed its way into your cards today, it may be telling you that you have been too meek in trying to reach some goal. Badger asks you how long you are willing to sit and wait for the world to deliver your silver spoon. In this medicine, the key is to become aggressive enough to do something about your present state of affairs. Badger is teaching you to get angry in a creative way and say, I won't take it anymore. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. This is an important sentence. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. Honor the healing process as you express those inner feelings. Be aggressive, but don't cut others to ribbons on the way. That is too much aggression. Use your anger to stop lolling about so that your doldrums of apathy are a thing of the past. Badger is a powerful medicine when properly used for self-improvement. Remember that Badger may be signaling a time when you can use your healing abilities to push ahead in life. Heal yourself aggressively, removing the barriers that do not grow corn. Cut away the dead wood and use Badger's aggression to seek new levels of expression. Use Badger's medicine roots to keep grounded and centered in the process. Now, they're telling me to read the contrary because sometimes there's information there. Oops, here comes Badger upside down and fuming. This could mean that you're being chewed out by someone else or that you have expressed your anger in an unhealthy way. Now, we can all be a party to this, okay? If this applies to you, remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected towards others. Now, that's whether this is for you or not, Teresa. This is just really good. Remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected towards others. Now, that's just an interesting statement, whether it's for you or not, Teresa. If you are angry at a coworker for telling the boss that you were looking for another job, you're really angry at yourself for not keeping your own secret. If you are angry at your children for disobeying, it is usually anger that stems from fear for the children's well-being. This self-anger condition is usually present when you have silly accidents, falls, cuts, scrapes, or when you find yourself bumping into furniture. Badger in the contrary position can issue in a time of reflection on what you feel helpless about. Is it your lack of aggressiveness or initiative? Is it your fear of being blasted or belittled if you present a new idea? Maybe it is time when you need to get in touch with your own jealousy or envy of others who are willing to put themselves on top through hard work. In the reverse, Badger teaches you the pitfalls of shyness and insecurity, as well as of misused or vicious aggression. Now, there's some folks out there that after this last week or so, they're not saying you, Teresa, but they have gotten viciously aggressive. Go to your feelings. Maybe you can just need to let off some steam. If so, scream into a pillow and then punch it a few times. It will surely put Badger back into balance. Badger can be difficult medicine, and learning to use it properly is a rare gift. In another context, contrary Badger could be calling you to use herbs and roots to heal your body. Now, this can go to everybody, okay? Badger reverse may also be putting you on notice to be aware of those areas of your life that need the input of someone else's aggressive creativity to spark your own creativity. In any case, contrary Badger speaks of a need for more aggressive action in your life. No more inactivity can prevail without creating pain of some kind. Now, the card was upright, but I read the other. You're more defensive than aggressive, and maybe that's the balance, you know. And there are times I was way too aggressive back in the day. I mean, people hated me. And I had some come to Jesus meetings, let me say. And so I had to be able to calm myself and be able to put things in perspective. And, I've told you all this before, but as an engineer at Prestolite, I had to go around to all these machines and keep up things and talk to the people. And they hated my guts when I first started doing that. But over when I realized that and it was because I had, these visits from White Dove. Uh, she said she was from the Cherokee Nation, but anyway, so on my way to work, she would literally ride with me in the truck. It was really weird, but she was telling me and instructing me on how to change my tone of voice and how to, because I didn't mean any harm to these people, and they didn't really know me. So what I did was with her instructions was to make sure I listened to what I was saying. And am I hearing it the way these people are hearing it? And I realized they weren't hearing me the way I thought I was saying it, right? So in some of it, because my job was to be aggressive in making sure that all these things were working and so forth, I was putting that aggressiveness out and they could hear it in my voice. So when I realized all this, when they finally let me go after 5.5 years of being there, both shifts turned out and gave me a going away party the last day of work that I was there. Both shifts, first and second shift, and part of third, but and I mean, there are 780 people that work there. And, we're talking 500 people between two shifts gave me a going away party, which nobody else in the plant, only except the plant manager of a couple of years before, had that ever happened. So when people ask me, well, how do you know this works, Hawkeye? Because the people proved it to me. By changing your tone of voice and by understanding, and there was ways that I could be aggressive, but without hurting somebody's feelings. So it is a fine art, but I'm telling you that when you learn how to use it and when you take command of that aggressiveness and use it in a positive way with humility and your ego in check, people will give you a party. I mean, literally, people will give you a party, and there are still people to this day who, on Facebook, which is hard for me to get on these days, but, they still send me prayers and so forth. So it's like, these people, after all these years, we're still in minimal contact, but it's still there. Deborah says, know thyself, forgive thyself, and heal thyself. Yep, that's what I hear in the bit about anger. 11:11. Well, it's 2:12 here. On the other side of the river stood lonely Indian maid. Little White Dove was her name. Yeah, I remember that. Little White Dove. Da, 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 da. Yep. Este Montfort. And their hearts were beating faster for the love that never could be. I remember that song back, I mean, like in the late 50s, early 60s. Maverick, yeah, I seem to be a time traveler too. They're here recently. Can we talk here? All right, so I think I've had enough of the card reading for tonight. But after 2.5, almost 3 hours, and I'll do another card reading. But it does take. I find out after I do these that I'm tired, man. Reading these cards and doing this and trying to stay connected with the spirit guide, so forth. At the end of it all, it's really kind of taxing, So people who do spiritual work, and I've done spiritual work and other things, and when I was doing puppets and storytelling and how much energy it takes, and man, sometimes it'll take 2 or 3 days to recover from some of this stuff. But anyway, I'm proud to be able to do it, and I'm proud that I'm here to be able to do it, and I'm proud that y'all are here so I can do it for you. So Hey, but there's always lessons in it for me as much as well, let me stop right there. In the humbleness of the universe, there are times when for those of us, and I'm talking about me, but I'm other people too, you reach a certain spiritual awareness, we'll say, that other people just seem to not quite understand, and it's like the basic things that I talk about shamanism and about, watch an ant for a couple of hours, go out in a field and, understand the small and the large and that everything is together, and people just, they shake their heads and go, why? I want to become a spiritual being. I know. Go talk to an ant, go talk to a tree, go to, and some folks just don't get it. They will read the Bible, not saying that's a bad thing, but they'll read the Bible and do these other things, but they won't connect with the mother nature, which is God, which is the creator, which is the source, which is the quantum. So, but in all of this though, it's hard because there are times when I look and I go, are not you per se, but in that, is anybody out there really fucking paying attention? Is anybody really listening to what a lot of us are trying to talk about? Is anybody really getting any of this? Is what I'm doing, is it worth it to the universe? And an answer today was like, you betcha. You better get your ass up, Hawkeye, because you got work to do. And I was like, but, so for me, a lot of times, um, I have to get up the confidence to do a card reading. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Yeah, well, you said you promised. Well, I know, and there are folks so I'm having this internal discussion, right? But it's whether or not, well, is it necessary? But yeah, but see, you all proved to me that it's necessary. See, that's the part. So in my own um, feelings of uh, not being worthy to do this, okay, that I have to stop and go, nah, stop this, can't go there. But at the same time, I know folks who like, well, I do card readings and you should listen to me. And like me. So I don't want to be that person, I do it because it's necessary. I do it for myself in that to learn how to do card readings and be able to stay in touch with spirit and be able to try to communicate, positive things to the universe. So, and I would never charge for doing the card reading, for example, and not saying anything against people who do. That's not my point. But in my realm, an offering could be given to me, but I would not expect an offering or payment. You know what I mean? Because I feel in my own way that your response, your participation is the gift. So somebody said, well, I'll send you money. And, no, that's not my point. Yeah, my address, no, I'm kidding. But in that, though, to the universe, my expectations of if I gave somebody a free card reading or whatever, is that they would take that information and use it. And that information to use it to their best of the abilities, which then will increase the potential positive energy in the universe, right? That's my goal. If there is a goal to this. So the goal is to help people to find that positive energy, because in doing so, then my job is even made better, because then not only do I do a reading, but then people will act responsibly with the information that's given, and that is a positive step to the universe. So how can I change things? By being that messenger, you know? And yes, I have owl medicine. So, and yes, it's in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. But I still, every time I do this, though, I still ask the question for myself. Is my humbleness apparent to myself and to others? Is my true meaning of why I'm doing this, is it understood by those folks who are listening? And is the message that comes out, are people, listening? Is it doing any good? So, but then I questioned today, I was doing this right. Well, but what if this card reading isn't doing anybody any good? What if I'm just doing it for, and the answer that came back, nah, you got to stop that shit, Hawkeye. But I'm the question is always, am I doing the right thing? You know, am I doing the right thing? So, and it's not about, I mean, y'all's response is great, but to the universe of stuff, my spirit guide says, yeah, you did a card reading. Yep. You got up of your dead ass. And yeah, I had to go pee and feed the fire, but I've been here and y'all are participating. And I just think that's wonderful. So is that a positive outcome to the universe? I feel it is. And your participation makes it a positive. And so, I'm just the instigator, I'm just stirring up the pot, anyway. So let me put my glasses on and read what y'all been. Yeah, Teresa, go to sleep. Thank you so much. Este, a good friend, always tells me to leave the thinking to a horse. They have bigger heads. Yep. Good, Sarah. Your card messages do me good. Thank you. Um, but in this of doing things, though, I share with you. There's always work to do. The kind of work you're doing is more than necessary. Thank you, Marie. And it's good to see you. Honest to goodness, over the years, whether or not I've been on Facebook or not, I've always sent you a prayer. I've always thought you a very extremely intelligent woman, and I would love to go to Romania. So I'm not dead yet. We'll see. Yes, the universe uses me. Absolutely. And the interesting part about that is that well, it's your response that tells me then this is good. And trust me, I don't when I get through doing this and I'm off camera kind of thing, I'm not standing around patting myself on the back about wow, you did a good job tonight. If anything, I have tears and I thank the spirits and the creator that I'm able to be here for y'all. And I know that just sounds like, oh, no, but seriously, I am so grateful to the universe because there are a lot of chances and choices that I should be dead right now. And with over 25 head concussions, many of them severe, the fact that I can channel anything other than, dee, 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 um, there's something to that. So I'm grateful that I'm still here, and I'm grateful that I can still be of some kind of use in the universe, because one of the things that was going around is like, they want to get rid of all the useless people on the planet. And I think to myself, I can't travel around and do what I used to, but am I still useful as a human being? You know what I mean? So that also prompted me to do this card reading tonight. Also, was that, if you want to be a positive effect, then you have to act on it. So I have to be available and do card readings and that type of thing, because if I'm inactive, then I'm not participating. And then how can the positive continue to grow if I'm not participating and acting on it? And you know what I mean? So, and each one of us has got our own stuff that we do. And it may be that you're participating in this chat or other chats, as I know you all do. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So, anyway, I love you all. I do. Thank you so much. And there was 21 or 2 of y'all in here at one time tonight. That was well. I need this today. Whatever made me turn on YouTube. You're welcome, Amanda. And sometimes you swamp camp. Yeah, I got a kayak and canoes and or a canoe and kayak. So if y'all make it down here to the swamp. Oh, and the other day it rained so much I could literally, if it hadn't been so cold, I would have kayaked like right in my backyard. It was great. Yep, Sarah, you're absolutely right. And the message that I got from my Mother Mary thing years ago was that my job is to be able to talk about spiritualism without using religion as the basis. And I mean, we're talking Mother Mary here, Catholic, right? And she was telling me years ago that, your job is going to be to teach people about spirituality without involving religion. And I thought that was just the dumbest thing. Of course, now we're talking 30 years ago or more. So, but the fact that I'm sitting here having conversations about spirituality without involving any religion or excluding it, I talked about the Bible earlier. So I'm not excluding it, but that religion isn't necessary to reach spirituality. That's the key. So the null lull, yeah, and there's the null space too. Um, take care of yourself. Yep. Thank you, Crisante. And so, my friends, after 2 hours and 46 minutes and counting, I got to go pee again, and I got to go check the wood, and I want to get something to drink because I drank all my coffee. So thank you for your participation. I really do appreciate it. I do, I do, I do. So I end with always the prayer, and I honestly mean it. Every day I get up and I put my feet on the ground, I'm saying prayers. And it's so good to hear from all of you. It is. So I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Each and every day I wake up and I put my big old size 10 feet on the floor, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And in that wonderful law of three, especially in comedy, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and anyone that you come in contact will continue to accept, receive, and to share the wisdom, the knowledge, the healing, and the blessings from the universe. Y'all keep up the good work. Jody, thank you very much for you showing up. I hope that card was whatever was read. Thank you, Teresa, for sleeping online with us. Deborah, it's always good to see you. Estee Montfort, Amanda B, it's good to see you. Deborah, yeah, I'm reading without my glasses on. Ain't that something? Anyway, for those of you who I may have missed, it was only by accident. I love you all. Thank you for your participation in the world. Keep up the good work, okay? And as Michelle loves to say, Ween! And from South Georgia, as always, you know that drill. It's TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Keep it between the ditches, my friends. We'll talk to you soon. Be safe. Cheers, everybody.